Happy Monday, everybody. We are crushing this market, and congratulations to everybody who's making a lot of money. And let's start with Bitcoin, and I will start with Bitcoin futures. This is futures, and it's a little bit delayed, but you can see what's happening on Bitcoin futures. It opened on a gap up, so you can see futures are closed over the weekend, and then today on Monday it opened on a gap up, and then you can see this is 1 hour candle. You can draw, like, you can see a price difference here, 1 hour gap here, another gap here around 34,165. So if I go to daily chart, zoom out a bit, you can see this red resistance area between 38 to 40k. This is where we are right now, right on the resistance area, and I think it's going to take a little bit of consolidation, or maybe a little bit move down to gather energy before we go higher. And one thing to note, you can see now we are getting some divergences on RSI. If I quickly go to live futures, you can see here very nicely, this is 24/7 futures. You can see we're making equal high, slightly lower than before, and then you can see divergence. What that means, price is going high, RSI is going lower, and also I got this red sell signal on RSI, which was on 13th of November. All right, so since then it's been just chopping around. But let's go back to the futures, Bitcoin futures, and you can see, so we have a gap up 36,615. So we will definitely come fill this gap for sure. There's another gap here, 34,165, and then there is another bigger gap here around 29,760, which is also on trend line. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna go that far. So from today's close to that far, it's almost 20%. I don't think we're gonna go that far. Maybe the best case could be go this far, and then fill the gap at 34,165. That's around 9%. That could be the best case, or maybe just fill this little gap before we go higher. But I think it's better to have a little bit more pullback, and then we will try to chase this another target of 40k, 42k, 41k. All right. And if you are in profits, this is the time to take profits because there are divergences on RSI. If I go to 1 hour chart, you can see what I'm saying. You can see even 1 hour chart price is making equal highs, and then you can see RSI is going lower here. So this is short-term time frame. You can see RSI is also making lower high. PPO also making lower high. You can see divergence here as well. You can see PPO making a very huge divergence, and you can see even on live futures, which is more data because this is running 24/7. You can see same story here. You're making equal high or higher high, and you can see lower divergence, lower momentum. These are momentum indicator, RSI and PPO. You can see here, this is making lower high on PPO, and RSI is also making lower high. So just be careful. This is going back to daily chart on live market. I think it's good to have a pullback to just consolidate before we can go high and break this 40 to 42k resistance and their divergence. So just be very careful in crypto right now. There's no indication to be bullish. Also, the other thing is these indicators. You can see both indicators, red dot and then green line is below red line. Until green line goes above red line, like here, green line went above red line and I got a green dot, I'm not going to be bullish on crypto. Okay, so you can even lose 5%. Like, you just better to wait till there's a crossover here. You can see this crossover here. Don't worry about 1 or 2 candlesticks. Just wait for a proper crossover so that we know we can be bullish again. Until then, be very, very careful on crypto. And Ethereum, same thing. You can see again gap up today. If I go to 1 hour chart, this gap up, huge gap up. And now you can see there are multiple gaps. There's a gap around 1950, gap around 1850, and then there's also a gap around 1614, and the last gap is around 1428. So on Ethereum, if I go to live market, this whole area is support. So if it gets a little bit of consolidation to downwards move to around 1850, that's good to gather energy and bounce. And actually that will be the gap fill probably. So if we go to Ethereum, 1850 exactly is the gap. You can see this gap. So I'm looking for something like this to fill this gap. That's my preferred scenario. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I want this to fill the gap. This gap definitely will be filled around 1950, but I prefer this other gap to fill before we can go higher. All right. So that's on crypto, and even on Ethereum, you can see we have a red dot and then green line is about to cross red line. But on the live market, which is 24/7, green line already crossed below red line, and we had a red dot right here on 14th of November. All right. So okay guys, so that's about crypto. So let's go to traditional market, and you can see there's a Fitch downgrade gap. I was telling everybody this was on 2nd of August. We had a gap down on futures, which is very rare. If you go to 1 hour chart, just to show you again, very rare we see gap down. So these are 24/7 futures. US 500 is S&P 500, and Nasdaq 100 is US 100. You can see gap down exactly like we open market with a big gap, Fitch downgrade. Let's go back to daily chart, and that's always our target. Okay, so see where we are now. We are from that target as of now. This is up pre-market 0.1, but we are almost just 0.5%. This can happen tomorrow. We can fill this gap, or market can trick everybody and then maybe make a downwards move before it go higher. And I will show you on this SPX seasonality chart. This is 20 years since 2022. Okay, this is an average. All right. You can see what happens. So now it's November 20th. So last couple of weeks of November, we do get this dip. I don't know what's going to be the catalyst for this. There are Fed meeting minutes tomorrow, and then also NVDA earnings after hours. So could it be one of these two which will give us a dip? This is on Nasdaq, and then we pump towards the end of the year. If I go to NDX chart, you can see same thing here, seasonality. Last couple of weeks of November, it's ideally this week, because then it's last week. So last week we pump, but this week probably I don't know what would be there will be a news somehow. We will get a dip, and that's going to be a buyable dip, all right? And you can see this dip could be maybe around 1% on Nasdaq if you look at percentage wise, and then this could be around, let's say, around 1% dip. So looking for around 1% dip, which is not a lot. So if I go back to SPY, so 1%, so you can see all these green lines are the gaps. You can see how SPY has resistance, and resistance here, and we just gap up. So these gaps will be filled. You can see how massive these gaps are. I just don't know when. And what I can tell you is, if I go to 1 hour chart, you can see here big divergence on SPY. What that means, even on cash index 1 hour chart, price is going high, divergence on RSI, same thing on PPO, big divergence, and with so many gaps to fill. Even if I go to live market right now, you can see we're making a new highs, but divergence on RSI, even on PPO, same thing. Okay, so be careful. Again, let's go back to SPY. Just remember, if I go to daily chart, and you can see we are going into overbought category. You want to buy here when there's dark red, like red background here on RSI. That's where you want to buy. You can see here dark red background here, and you want to sell when there's green background in the back. You can see green background is coming here. And then here also you see red time is when perfect day to buy, or perfect time to buy, and you can see we just started forming a green one right now. So what that means, we are very overbought short term, so a healthy pullback is required. I don't know it's going to go straight parabolic up. I don't think so. And also if we take a measured move of this bear or this flag, we're almost there. I think we could go a little bit more higher, but I think this Fitch downgrade gap looks like 0.5% away. That could be filled tomorrow, and then we can get a reversal for some reason. Maybe we'll fill it there. NVDA earnings will come, and then we dump. I don't think we're going to go straight higher. All right, so that's not healthy. Probably we are just doing a short covering here. That's why people are just ripping it up. Q's cash index of Nasdaq, same thing here, just slipping higher, and you can see actually this is over. There's no divergence on daily, and you can see short term. This is also overbought. Sorry. If we go to 1 hour chart, same story, divergence. We are making new high, and actually there's another. You can see on RSI, we're making lower high. Okay, and even on PPO, we're making lower high. So divergences across the board on Nasdaq and S&P 500. Also, you can see daily chart, so many gaps to fill. All these green lines are the gaps to fill. Nothing up. Okay, this red line is there was a gap here which was filled, so it's also a new high. A new high with divergence, but if it can keep going higher, this can erase divergence. But you can see even on long-term chart here, you can see divergence on PPO as well. You can see here we are making a new high with divergence on PPO, and RSI also has slight divergence. So just be careful. And then again, these gaps will be filled. Maybe we will come back next year, early next year, to fill this gap, or we're going to do it in November. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but look to buy all the dips. All right, Dow Jones, same thing, going higher, big gap here. Look to buy all the dips. IWM, again gap here. Look to buy all the dips, and also it's on this trend line, very nice trend line. So look to buy the dips on IWM as well. Gold keep going higher, and you can see very nicely broke out back test and just going high, nothing changed. Silver, uh, again it was up above this trend line, but maybe we might want to make another trend line, but I'll just go for this for now. Let's see if we can try something else here. If we go backwards, something can be made like that. Is there another trend line like that? It's also possible we can make another trend line. So it's just a matter of you just go backwards, and then that's how you can just make multiple trend lines. All right. So there's one trend line here, one trend line here. On the above one, it's not able to close. It's just struggling. But if it closes above that, that's going to be very bullish. Natural gas back on this trend line. Okay. So maybe we'll adjust this now. So you can see, can we adjust? It's a little bit below. It's a little bit below this trend line, so we really want natural gas to recover very, very fast. If it does not, now there is a gap here. If I go to 1 hour chart on natural gas, you can see there was a gap here which was filled, another gap here. So eventually that gap will be filled, and if you can hold long term natural gas from today's close or where we are now, it's easy. This gap is around 17%. That's huge move, guys. So huge moves possible. Just be patient. And on 1 hour chart, starting to build some divergence. You can see RSI starting to go higher, PPO going to higher. So I think there's a good time to buy natural gas coming soon. You want to buy here when nobody wants to buy. You don't want to buy here when everybody wants to buy. All right. Crude oil, massive moves in the last couple of days going higher. Still can go a little bit higher. That's perfectly okay. This is a big resistance point, and then I'm expecting it to fail. Note this previous high around 79.665. That's going to be our indicator. If this goes above that, then there could be a small shift in trend on daily chart. This is making higher high, and then we can just go higher low, higher high, and that could be a change in trend. But I'm a little bit bearish on crude oil. Next target is here around 65. That's what I'm looking to buy. Not right now. Dollar index keep dropping, lower highs, lower lows, and exactly as this cycle is predicting. See how nicely these cycles are showing up. So 4th of Jan, it's going to just keep going down until 4th of Jan. Toronto Stock Exchange, let's go to 1 hour chart. And this gap is filled, so you can delete this gap. Now it's already gap up, looks like. So there are multiple gaps. So look to buy all the gaps. I don't know which gap will be filled first. This gap looks like could be filled. Even this could be filled, but let's wait and see how market reacts. Hang Seng Index, massive move, broke out of this downwards channel, broke out back test, and then now just consolidating, also making a secondary support. So nothing changed. Hang Seng Index is also looking good. Bond market, also right on this resistance where it should be. And you can see downwards line, broke out, back test, just staying here. Copper, just going higher after buy zone. Palladium, trying its best, going up from buy zone, and next resistance is around 1140. Wheat, little bit of struggling here, but still there are divergences, so nothing else changed. So you can see price going lower, but on divergence sorry, got the wrong tool, but on divergence on RSI, you can see RSI divergence. Even on PPO, you can see big positive divergence. So be very careful on wheat. Do not short. I think it's about to rip very, very fast. Corn, if we go to daily chart, nothing changed. Still divergences, new lows, but you can see, this indicator is a bit messy, but you can see this divergence here on PPO, and that's it. So corn and wheat are looking good. Soybeans came to the buy zone and bouncing. Sugar, keep defining, could be a flag, but any dips here are buyable on sugar in my perspective. All right, just quickly look at all of the stocks. Tesla, let me bring the other indicator on. 3 moving indicators, 10 in 1. So there you go. So Tesla right now in the middle. between 50 daily SMA line, red line, and then the yellow line. So it's just consolidating. It's making higher highs, higher lows. There is a possibility it could come down to fill this gap before it goes higher. So just keep that in mind. And let's go to other stock, which is Apple. Apple is looking very, very bullish, or very, very overbought, short term, light green background. I will be taking profits here. Now, there's another gap here around 195, show that can be filled, but we could reversal very soon as well. So, this is almost 2% away. It can fill it in a day, but it can reverse after filling, or it can reverse right away. We'll see. Netflix, this gap is filled, so we can delete this gap. You can see how nicely gaps are filled. Almost trying to make new high and then back test this trend line. So we'll see how it goes. Microsoft, massive move up. This gap is filled. And they had an announcement on AI, some CEO joining AI. So the stock was pumping. But look to buy all the dips. Sky's the limit. And you can see short term very, very overbought. You can see we made a new high, but RSI is still lower, all right? So short term it's showing, just be careful. Google also looks like on 1 hour chart, looks like these gaps are getting filled now, which is very good news. And yeah, it's also making new highs. So let's, the next target is 140. Meta also making a new high. Still a little bit divergence, I guess. Little bit of divergence still there on Meta. But next two targets are these ones, 357 and 362. So let me, go back to this indicator. Here you go. Where did it go? Auto. Here you go. All right. Sorry, guys. Amazon flat, struggling, but back on this resistance trend line. Snowflakes up 3%. These two are the next targets. NVDA new highs. New high, no divergence yet. And tomorrow's earnings, so it's going to be coin flip. And AMD also trying to make new highs, and it's looking very solid. Newmont Mine, biggest gold miner, looking for this gap fill. Gold miner GDX looking for this gap fill before we can go high. And XLK new highs. Tech sector very, very overbought short term. Look to take profits. Do not short this yet. XLE energy sector. Looks like made a new low. So is this a rejection? Could be a rejection, and maybe it's coming back to this support zone. XLV healthcare sector, massive pump, 61% pump, above all moving average except 200. So let's see, perfect time to buy. This is back on this trend line. Utilities sector. Look to buy all the dips. So let's see if we can get this dip. Industrial sector. Also, there is this industrial sector. There's a gap now. Is it good? This gonna be filled first, or this gonna be filled first before we go higher? I don't know. It's gonna be whatever market makers want to do. And real estate sector also. There's a massive gap here. I think most likely we'll fill this gap and then go higher. We'll see financials. Another pump, and you can see all of these are very, very overbought short term. And let's see if we can make a new high with divergence. Then we gotta be careful. Let's go to 1 hour chart and see if there's anything. Nothing much here. And then KRE is regional bank ETF. Again, gap up. Are we gonna fill this gap only and then go higher, or are we gonna go all the way down to fill this gap? I prefer it goes all the way down to fill this gap before it goes higher. Shopify just keeps going higher, trying to make a new high. Nothing changed. Everything is looking good for Shopify. All right, guys, that's about it. So again, just be a bit careful. This gap looks like it's going to be filled for sure, but there are divergences building. You can see 1 hour chart. There are divergence here. Even even Nasdaq has divergence. So just be careful. And also, if I go to weekly chart, you can see how many times in a week we are up already. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 time. Okay, so we need some pullback. We cannot just keep going straight. All right, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, then consolidation here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but it's not just straight, it just goes chops around. Here also 1, 2, 3, then go down. Here also couple of days red candle, couple of weeks, and then green candle, couple of other weeks. So we're just going straight, which is not healthy. Any pullback is going to be good for Nasdaq. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, guys, also I want to show you this indicator. If you guys are interested, I share these levels with my private group. There's a description in the chat. You can join. And if you like, you can subscribe. And you can see Nasdaq 100 is now in the sell zone. You can see short-term sell zone. I took all the profits. I'll wait for it to fall either at non-neutral zone or buy zone. S&P 500, same thing, sell zone. Dow Jones is also in sell zone, and Russell 2000 is also near sell zone. So things which are in buy zone, gold was in the buy zone and it just bounced after that. Natural gas is still in the buy zone. Silver near neutral zone. Bitcoin near sell zone, and Ethereum is also near neutral zone actually. So anyhow, guys, if you like the content, please hit the like button and subscribe and share with your friends and family. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, there's a link there below as well, and also Discord server. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.